What's good, everybody? It's your boy D Nice with I2G Radio. Sounds so good to say that. This is actually season 1, episode 1 of the new and revamped I2G Radio podcast. Now, for people that have been longtime subscribers, longtime supporters of the site and of the podcast, up until about last year, we had a audio podcast where we would play music submitted from artists, some top 40, a little blend of everything. We also had our R&B Rhythms podcast as well, Gumbo Symphony on here as well, where we play a lot of rock, alternative, and R&B music. As many people know, Spotify, which you can also check I2G Radio podcast out on Spotify at I2G Radio. That's the letter I, the number 2, the letter G, radio, all one word. Canceled all of that due to copyright, everything of that nature as far as playing music. So I had to kind of dial it back a little bit, kind of figure out how I was going to kind of restructure I2G Radio. Took a while, still kind of doing a rough draft with this, so urge everyone to please be patient. But bottom line, I2G Radio is back. Gumbo Symphony podcast, we are still working on that as well, as far as what will be the best format. But moving forward, what I'm going to do, first half of the show, we'll be talking about all things Illuminati2G.com. That's the site, just in case you were wondering, Illuminati2G.com. The word Illuminati, the number 2, the letter G.com for all of your hip hop needs. Basically, we'll kind of be doing a synopsis of what's been going on during the week, posts, interviews, features, different things that are going on currently on the site. We will then have our portion, our I2G Radio Las Vegas Raiders portion of the podcast, talk about all things Raiders, maybe recap some Raider podcasts that we've done as well, which are also on at I2G Radio on Spotify. For example, yesterday we talked about the Colton Miller extension. We'll briefly talk about that again on the Raiders portion. And then we'll kind of wrap things up, sum things up at the end, and then we'll just kind of build from there. But if you have any ideas, you have any shout outs, you want to promote business or anything like that, hit us up on our email. That's I2GRadio@gmail.com. That's the letter I, the number 2, the letter G, radio, all one word, @gmail.com. But today is a very festive celebration. It is year 25 of Illuminati2G.com. It's crazy. July 31st, 2000 was when Illuminati2G.com was born. Just a little background information. It was kind of an idea that I had in my head. I had seen a lot of hip-hop sites that were going around back in 2000, basically turn of 2000, and kind of thought, you know what, I want to do my own hip-hop site. And started out just doing reviews, kind of following news, different things like that. And it's blossomed into, we have interviewed over 2,500, we have over 2,500 interviews. We've had a couple carnations of, different versions of Illuminati2G over the years. I've kind of gone and scoured the internet archives to get all of these interviews, and slowly we're adding more and more day by day that we are getting, that we are able to salvage. But over 2,500 interviews, again, we did for a solid, 7-8 years, the I2G Radio podcast. We also did the West Coaster Nostra Radio. But I've always championed, the underground and up-and-coming artists and giving artists a shot. One of my first interviews I had was with Badass, rest in peace, and I kind of did that via email. This is before kind of using a recorder, and learned my lesson because I was completely duped. The person I thought was interviewing definitely was not Badass. I posted it got back to badass cussed me out, so made sure we were official like a referee's whistle moving forward with a lot of our interviews. But I've interviewed so many people: Corrupt from the Dog Pound, my favorite group of all time, Cypress Hill, interviewed Be Real, interviewed DJ Muggs a couple of times, DOC, interviewed Tina Marie, T.I., Redman, Ludacris, Eve. The list goes on and on and on. Cardi B, when she was coming up in the game. We also interviewed Nicki Minaj on the site as well. So I'm just proud of the progress. Continue to move forward. I want to appreciate all the love and support that I've gotten over 25 years. For those that are wondering, the name Illuminati 2G, I wanted to do that with the whole Illuminati. I've gotten a lot of crazy messages over the years of people saying, well, if you're part of the Illuminati, I want to join, and all that. It was nothing like that. I literally took the word Illuminati, which means illumine or illuminate. It's shedding light on hip hop from my perspective. The 2G comes from, that was around the year 2000. And I just put the 2G at the end because obviously you can't have a site called Illuminati.com. Tried it, didn't work, but that's where that came from. Got a lot of flack from a lot of people, some funny stories over the years I may share, especially now with the 25-year anniversary. But again, love and appreciate all the support that I've gotten from everyone over the years, and will hopefully continue to get. And it's a labor of love, but it's something that I enjoy doing. It doesn't feel like work, and can continue to push forward not only underground hip hop, but I mean just good music. Continue to do interviews and continue to just put the genre and put hip hop its best foot forward as possible. I'm not into the, no offense to the TMZs or a lot of these different websites that have come up now, promoting beef or different things of that nature. That's not what we do here. So, but let's get right into it as far as the site itself. This is the I2G news and notes portion of the podcast. Just kind of talking about, what's going on Illuminati2G.com, and give you guys, kind of a little peek-see into the site if you're not on the site already. Ghostface Killah, just announced he's going to be releasing a new album, Supreme Clientele 2, that will be dropping in August. No date as of yet, but he just dropped his new single, which we have on the site, and it's entitled Rap Kingpin. Really dope track. Urge everybody to check it out. But this is also part of Nas's Mass Appeal record label that is almost running away with album of the label of the year as far as hip hop labels. Slick Rick's album Victory dropped last month. Raekwon just dropped his Emperor New Clothes, just dropped his new album. Ghostface will be dropping in August. Mobb Deep will be dropping a new album as well. We'll have unreleased music from Prodigy. They had enough music to put out a new album. So Nas and Alchemist will be overseeing that project. Super excited about that. We actually did a I2G hip hop short about that last year. Urge everybody to check out our YouTube channel. They want to see that. A Big L project as well will be dropping a new De La Soul album. And to close out will be the project from Nas and DJ Premier. So definitely looking forward to that. Urge everybody to check out the new single, Rap Kingpin, on the site. Again, this is not a music format. If we had the OG format, we would play the single for you, but again, for copyright purposes, we will not be playing that. Also on the site, we had a new feature with Slick Rick. He was talking about his Victory project, as well as Lords of the Underground as well. Talking about their new single Circle of Life and their album that they did with the Snow Goons, So Legendary. It's been out now for a couple of months. Urge everybody to check that out as well. We also did a review on our YouTube channel, and is also on I2G.com on the reviews page. Some other things going on. Corrupt just dropped a new single as well, entitled Special, featuring Jane Hancock, and produced by the legendary Battlecat. Battlecat and Corrupt will be dropping a new album on Death Row Records. No title as of yet. First single, Special, again, you can also check on the website. Very bouncy, nice summertime track. Anytime Corrupt and Battlecat link up, you know, it is always a celebration. I dig the track. It's very short, but to the point. Will be again on Death Row Records, executive produced by Snoop Dogg, so I'm definitely looking forward to that project. There was something I did want to kind of retread and go back on. As many people know, or maybe don't know, Timberland signed, the producer Timberland signed his first AI artist named Tata. And he dropped this news about 2 months ago. And also this will also spur basically a AI driven music label, and it's got a lot of people in uproar. Now this is something that I will play a little bit of, just to kind of retread. This was from a couple years ago. Timberland had previewed a song that had an AI version of the Notorious B.I.G. This is not Notorious B.I.G. like unreleased verses or anything like that. It's completely AI generated. Just wanted to play a little bit of that here, and then we will talk back once the snippet plays. We'll talk back about the subject about AI and Timberland's role in it.
All right, so I'm sitting here with my brother, Creative God, and we know that there's a lot of talk about AI. We know how the feelings of violating certain things, but let me tell you something. I got a solution. I'm working on it. It's going to be beneficial to everybody. But in the meantime, you know, I got to share something I've been working on because I always wanted to do this, and I never got a chance to. I always wanted to work with Big, and I never got a chance to. Until today, it came out right. Play.
Okay, so again, this was from a couple of years ago, but really now, obviously, Timberland has gotten the, whatever you want to call it, the green light, just to kind of now get this ball rolling and actually have a quote-unquote artist that is AI. My views on this are kind of mixed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused still, and still trying to kind of do a little more research on this, but it's going to, in kind of the similar vein of, you know, people are talking about different companies now going with more computers. I mean, you can go into your local McDonald's and you don't even really have to talk to a cashier or anybody to place an order. They have kiosks. You can just go in, place your order, and they'll just tell you, they'll give you a number, and then they'll, you know, give you your food when you're ready. It's almost getting to the point you don't have to talk to people anymore. A lot of companies, customer service based jobs are going AI, And now with the label, it's my only question is, what does an artist do? The Dog Pound talked about this a little bit on Nori and on Nori's Drink Champs. They talked about this, and Corrupt had said it. Well, if it's AI, is it still the artist? That's not the artist anymore. And that's kind of my question with all of this. If you can create a label with AI artists that are not real, and especially in this microwave era of a lot of people, how they consume music, and you've got 3 or 4, dope artists. Now this starts to play on the radio. You can do AI generated videos. People are doing it already, and there's a lot of dope content creators out there that do that. There's a guy that does a Bone Thugs and Harmony one, and he redid the whole Thug Love song and made it into a video and different things of that nature. What's the use of the artist? I've always kind of felt the music industry has been behind the 8 ball so many times, whether it was Napster or now with streaming. They've kind of gotten it to the point now where, Snoop Dogg had even talked about it. Artists are already making pennies on the dollar, literally pennies on the dollar, streaming on different streaming websites. And the whole purpose of talking about this is not to bash, the different streaming platforms. I'm on a streaming platform right now doing my podcast. There's great benefits in doing this, and technology, when it's done correctly, as the great Razcast once said, absolute power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. In the wrong hands, and if it's not represented properly, it can be a bit of a problem. Now, Beanie Siegel has stated, he's working on a new project. He just dropped a single a couple months ago, and he used a lot of AI to, kind of clean up his voice. He was shot. He had lost a lung, and his voice, it was almost kind of a whisper, but it was very kind of raspy and gruff. Now he used that to kind of clean up his vocals. They've used similar things with Tory Lanez, with him now releasing projects while he's currently in jail. So there's extreme benefits to AI, but again, in the wrong hands, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And are we getting to the age of where artists are disposable, and these kind of startup labels, you're not going to have the 360 deal needed or different things of that nature. This is all computer generated. There have been many movies, whether it's Total Recall or iRobot, or even for my comic book heads, Adventures, the Avengers, Age of Ultron, artificial intelligence and different things like that. Sometimes you have to keep up with the times, but sometimes you can kind of sit back and question, like, where are we going with this? What is the future of this in 2025, 2026? But, just kind of wanted to shed light on that. I know that was a clip from over 2 years ago, but we're here now. The label is already set. He has his first artist. As more music starts to come out labeled like this, we'll definitely, kind of revisit this topic. But that was just something I wanted to talk about again. This is the first podcast. We're just kind of, shooting the shit right now. But all right, let's get into some Raiders talk, shall we? All right, so just want to give some thoughts right now. Currently, we're in now the I believe this is day 5 of Raiders training camp. Raiders have some intriguing camp bells, and this comes from ESPN. Raiders have intriguing camp battles brewing on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they have continued to shuffle their line. Jordan Meredith was a starting center, while Jackson Powers Johnson slid to right guard. Alex Kappa played with second team offense at right guard. Just want to talk a little bit about this because it's got a lot of people in Raider Nation kind of in an uproar about what's going on. Infamously, JPJ, when Andre James was injured, infamously told Antonio Pierce, he's like, "Look, I'm the center now for the Raiders. I'm gonna run this. I'm the captain of the ship now. I run the ship now." And it really kind of spurned and sparked a turnaround for the offensive line that was kind of all over the place last year. A lot of injuries, a lot of moving parts, and it just, Colton Miller wasn't 100% healthy after shoulder surgery, and we will talk about him here in a little bit, as well as Jacoby Myers. But now, there's, the video of Jackson Powers Johnson talking to Ashton Genty as soon as he came in the building, and stating, I'm your center now. Really, my thoughts on this, I think Pete Carroll is just trying different things, and I think he's trying to narrow it down. Look, what's our 5 best offensive linemen that we can put out on the field? Is it JPJ and Jordan Meredith, along with Parham, Colton Miller, and DJ Glaze? Okay, if we've identified these are the 5 guys, where are they going to help us the most? Is it JPJ at center and then Meredith at right guard or left guard? Parham, Meredith, they're kind of interchangeable at this point? Or do you, is a possibility, hey, if we put JPJ, who was an above average guard last year, can we put him at guard? And then Jordan Meredith, a little bit smaller of a guard, at center. Does that give us the best offensive line? So I think they're kind of tinkering around with the different lineups that they could possibly have. I'm not going to read too much into this one way or the other. I trust in Pete, and Pete has always said compete. It's in the word compete, and I trust whatever his judgment is, and I think he will figure it out, the best 5. And definitely, I don't know if we'll see that in the 3 preseason games coming up, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. He has definitely created competition. On the defensive side of the ball, we have Eric Stokes and Cameron Richardson started as outside cornerbacks. Newly signed cornerback JT Woods also played a few snaps with the first team, and Darian Porter and Jacorian Bennett played mostly with the second team. Bennett entering his 3rd season and spent the majority of camp with the reserves. Cornerback room is very intriguing to me. I played cornerback and free safety in high school, so played a little wide receiver and tight end as well, but I think it's still kind of up in the air. I do think with Darian Porter, if he is showing, all of the last couple of weeks he was running and starting with the starting defense, Eric Stokes sounds like he's pretty much got one side of the field locked up as whether you want to call it CB1, CB2, but it's the opposite side that we're kind of up in the air currently about. Cameron Richardson sounds like he has made leaps and strides going into year 2. Kind of fits that Pete Carroll long, lanky build as far as for corner. And these guys are like a 4x2 track team. I mean, you've got Cameron Richardson runs a 4.3. Eric Stokes runs a 4.3. Darian Porter runs a 4.3. Jacorian Bennett runs a 4.3. So these guys are all fast. I think Pete Carroll's going to find a way to maybe kind of have a rotation, but I think he'll have something in place. I think Stokes definitely is set on one side. I think on the other side, it will boil down to, I think it's going to be between Porter and Jacorian Bennett. And, that slot you could possibly put in Cameron Richardson, or maybe even the UDFA Greedy Vance, who's looked good in practice. But definitely excited to see how this camp battle continues. And we've got a Raider football next week, first preseason game against the Seattle Seahawks. So it'll be interesting to see what defense is out there for the first week of that. Defensive tackle Adam Butler exited practice early with trainers. Meanwhile, defensive end Tyree Wilson was not on the field for a good portion of the team period. He lined up with the second team during the first team period, which emphasized the run game. He wasn't seen on the field after that. Expecting a big year out of Tyree Wilson, obviously with all of the shenanigans that's gone on, and the release of Christian Wilkins. A lot more is going to be asked of Tyree Wilson. It's going to be more on the inside. I think he will play a little defensive end, but I think he'll play a lot more defensive tackle, kind of that three technique moving forward. I think, partner him possibly with Adam Butler or Jonah Lalu on run plays. Don't know exactly if he'd be a starter, but I definitely know he'll be in that rotation with those defensive tackles. This is a big prove-it year for Tyree Wilson, also a first-round pick, 7th pick in the draft. Raider fans obviously know, and a lot of us have PTSD about, especially that first round, some of our picks. Although I must say the last 2 years, our drafts have been really on point, and I've definitely been excited about, getting Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers last year, JPJ, DJ Glaze, a lot of these good young players, in their first year, second year, entering their third year. This is a big year for Tyree Wilson. Hopefully he can have a big year, and he does get that 5th-year option picked up. But this is a brand new regime. Has no ties to Pete Carroll, John Spytek, or anything like that. But definitely heard good things about him so far in training camp. And lastly, a few notes again. Tight end Michael Mayer looked impressive during the zone 7-on-7 drills. He and quarterback Geno Smith connected on 3 touchdowns. On the first, Smith threw the ball to the back of the end zone, where Mayer made a 2-handed grab with safety Lonnie Johnson Jr. in coverage. Another guy on the offensive side that I'm expecting a big year from is Michael Mayer. Kind of had some mental health issues, or some family issues that were going on in his life last year. Missed a big chunk of the season. I kind of started to get back into the rhythm of things the last 4 or 5 games of the season, but especially in running, 12, 13 personnel. I think there will be a lot of plays where it is 3 tight ends, and I think with them employing and having Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and also Michael Thomas, I think we're going to see a big uptick in production from the tight ends, not only helping in the run game, but also the short and intermediate passes, especially down the middle. You've got Dante Thornton, you've got Trey Tucker on the boundary, have Jacoby Myers, Jack Besh in the slot, and that's going to allow Mayer, and it's also going to allow Genty. He's not going to see 8 men in the box. It's going to allow the tight ends and also slot receivers to really eat in the middle of that field, and be able to kind of get the yak yardage, and make plays out there on the football field. So I'm definitely excited for Michael Mayer, and definitely excited to see what he has going on going into the season. Again, we had the LV Raiders podcast yesterday, where he talked about the 3-year, $66 million extension for left tackle Colton Miller. Congratulations to Colton Miller once again on getting that extension. I felt this really needed to kind of be nipped in the bud before the season, and I'm so glad that it happened. It's sounding like Jacoby Myers is up next as far as getting as he is up next for an extension. You also have Daniel Carlson that might be put off maybe to till mid-year, but interested to see. I didn't think the Raiders would have money to re-sign both Jacoby Myers and Colton Miller, but we shall see how that works out. And you still have the Christian Wilkins situation, where that $35 million is still kind of in limbo until he filed a grievance with the union and trying to get that money back. But we'll see what happens with that. But definitely would love to see Jacoby Myers re-sign with the Raiders. I don't know necessarily what a contract would look like for that, but I definitely know it wouldn't be Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson type money, or even T. Higgins or anything like that. I don't think it's going to be $40 or $30 million or anything of that nature. I really like John Spytek has with the contracts that he has put together. They've all worked and have been cap friendly and allow the Raiders to make moves if they want to make a trade, or seeing how a lot of these younger players that I mentioned earlier, how they work out for extensions, things of that nature. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. But word is that they're now working on the Jacoby Myers extension. We shall see how that goes. But that's all that I have on the Raiders front. There is any more breaking news or anything, we talk about all things Raiders. I think I might do a 53-man roster projection. I definitely will kind of do a preview of things I want to see next week with the first preseason game against Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to try and get out to the 49ers Raiders game on August 16th. If I do, as we did last year, plenty of pictures. I'll give my synopsis, and everything will be on Illuminati2G.com. But we've been at it for about almost 33 minutes, I think, for season 1, episode 1 of I2G Radio. I like how this is going so far. Like I said, it's kind of a rough draft. Again, if you have any businesses, anything that you want to promote on the site, any ideas, anything of that nature, if you want to, leave a shout out or anything like that, I think eventually, don't know quite how I'm going to work it, but I can definitely figure it out. Play some interviews or have an interview on the radio show. I2GRadio@gmail.com. That's the letter I, the number 2, the letter G, radio, all one word, @gmail.com. We'll continue to grow this. We'll get a kind of a digital soundboard, add a little more sound effects, things of that nature. Again, my apologies, but I want to follow everything within the rules. Don't want to get demonetized or taken down or anything of that nature. We'll not be playing full music, full tracks like it was an actual radio show that we had before. But again, definitely will keep you informed, keep you up to date with everything that's going on currently on the site. And we were going to do the same thing as well with our Gumbo Symphony podcast with rnbrhythms.info. Urge everybody to check that out as well. But happy 25th anniversary once again to the site, Illuminati2G.com. We'll continue to push the narrative and champion underground and champion independent artists and champion mainstream, champion hip hop first and foremost, as we always have since July 31st, 2000, and now 25 years in the game. So, D-Nice I2G Radio signing off. I don't have set dates as of yet, so follow us on social media. That's at Illuminati2G, the word Illuminati, the number 2, the letter G, on X. Also at I2G Hip Hop on Instagram, and also at I2G Hip Hop on Facebook as well. But D-Nice I2G Radio signing off. Peace.